This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for March 14, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, workers at Administrator General's Department awaiting clarity on aspects of wage offer. The Jamaica Civil Service Association is awaiting clarity from the Ministry of Finance on several sticking points in wage talks with the management of the Administrator General's Department. Workers at the department are said to be restive over the length of time it is taking to conclude wage talks under the Compensation Review Program as the deadline inches closer. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark has set the end of March as the deadline for all outstanding wage agreements to be concluded for payment to be facilitated in the current fiscal year. Representatives of the JCSA and the management of the Administrator General's Department have been meeting since Monday morning to work out the details of the new pay scale under the updated scheme. The news was informed that during the talks, there were areas of the new compensation package that required further clarification. A request was made to the Finance Ministry for clarification. The parties are hopeful that all outstanding matters will be cleared up by Tuesday. CAD moving to address juror shortage. The Court Administration Division is moving to address the issues surrounding unavailability of people to serve as jurors. The court have been facing challenges associated with people opting not to turn up for jury duty. Director of the Court Administration Division, Tricia Cameron Anglin, said that several steps have been taken to deal with the shortage of jurors.
Have reached out to our stakeholders. We are cleaning the list. The judges have also been trained and sensitized, as well as the staff in more recent times. We have expanded the list so we can be able to reach the jurors where they are and get more persons coming in to serve. We have also strengthened our stakeholder partnership with the police so that in terms of service and finding the jurors, that can be buttressed to provide the respective courts with the jurors that we need to carry the matters forward. We have increased the number of persons working within our criminal register as well to be able to deal with the numbers themselves, so we are able to find persons and have them ready for the court. So this circuit was impacted. The Minister of Justice and the National Council on Justice, they have been looking carefully and keenly at the stipend provided for jurors, and very soon we will hear in Parliament a decision taken on the increase in the juror stipend, because we recognize the jurors just can't afford to come to court to serve. We have had to assist many of them, especially in the rural areas, getting to court and actually getting them back home. So this is something we have put as a Court Administration Division to the powers that be, and they have responded favorably to the reports and to the submissions we have made for an increase in the juror stipend.
JTA fought for teachers' best interest in wage deal, says the President-elect. President-elect of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Leighton Johnson, says the union fought long and hard in the best interest of the teachers. Speaking with a journalist Monday afternoon, Mr. Johnson admitted that the offer was not completely satisfactory, but noted that the majority of the delegates felt it necessary to accept what was on the table at this time. He said significant work went into the negotiation by the team, led by JTA President Lysandra Harrison, and the association now looks forward to the next negotiating period, which should come in very short order.
Significant work went into this negotiation by the team led by Mrs. Lysandra Harrison, and the delegates felt that having gone through the process to this point, it was now time for us to accept what is on the table and then look forward to the next negotiating period, which is coming up in very short order. The minister too has indicated to us that he is willing to implement a system where this is the desire is to ensure that for every negotiating period, at the start or at the expiration of one agreement, then there is an agreement to be signed going into the next agreement period.
Taxi operator and a passenger shot dead in Westmoreland. A taxi operator and a passenger were shot dead in Robbins River, Westmoreland on Monday afternoon. They have been identified by their aliases Pat and Twin. Preliminary reports are that the taxi operator who plies the White House to Newark's route was driving along Robbins River in the direction of White House when he and the female occupant were shot by armed men. The vehicle veered right and crashed into a tree in a residence yard. Sick out by immigration officers results in delays and disgruntled passengers. The island's two major airports came under strain on Monday after dozens of immigration officers reportedly called in sick, forcing long lines, heavy delays, and plane loads of frustrated passengers. The protests are for much more than compensation, said the disgruntled workers. They are about being heard and valued at the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, an organization where they say they are always left for last. The protests resulted from their dissatisfaction with the government's compensation package, now under review, and other issues at the agency. PICA CEO Andrew Winter told the news that the island's two main airports minimized the disruption experienced. One immigration officer who spent the day at home after reporting sick said he and his colleagues were very frustrated. We are always left for last, and it is the same for this compensation exercise. In fact, it is just another example of being left for last for everything inside this agency, he said. If they are having an annual staff retreat, they give all the other departments weekends and we get day passes. To further complicate the situation, there have been a lot of other monetary issues regarding allowances as far back as 10 years ago. Things like special mileage allowance he charged, citing a lack of confidence in leadership. The officer claimed that the immigration department has been extremely short-staffed while the customer service outfit is overstaffed. Other officers explained that the issue has weakened the border security. Before, immigration officers were tasked with visiting establishments to identify persons believed to be on the island illegally, charged one officer. Today, those activities no longer exist, he said. Efforts by the news to speak with National Security Minister Horace Chang, whose ministry has overall responsibility for PICA, were futile on Monday. In a letter to the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, National Workers Union General Secretary Granville Valentine listed the payment of special allowances to officers who are rotated between the major airports and the issues with the payments of increments earned in the 2021-2022 financial year as a sticking point. It also highlighted the disparity in payment of the senior allowance, asking for clarification of mileage for work done on public holidays and on payment of subsistent allowance. The NWU represents about 200 immigration officers, and Valentine said that he is hoping to meet with the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service on Tuesday to iron out the concerns. In the meantime, he said that the government, especially the security minister, should demand greater accountability from PICA executives. The people are adamant that they are frustrated for too long. They have been abused and victimized for too long by those who should be looking out for their compensation, said Valentine. The immigration officers, along with the PICA workers, are saying we are equally important and they are not backing down. There is nothing that anyone can tell these workers at this time, he argued. On Monday, passengers at the Norman Manley International Airport complained of long waits following flights from the United States. One male passenger said he had been waiting at the airport for 2 hours as immigration staff directed him and others to kiosks at arrival. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.